In the 1940s and 50s, poliomyelitis, or polio, was considered the biggest threat in the United States, with more than 35,000 cases every year. Polio is an infectious viral disease that affects the central nervous system and can cause temporary or permanent paralysis and sometimes death. Polio would have continued to ravage America if not for Jonas Salk. Jonas Salk was the developer of the polio vaccine. This inoculation was his most notable accomplishment, but definitely not his only one. Salk also developed the vaccine for influenza types A and B, the dead virus vaccine, and the weakened virus vaccine. Some of his accomplishments outside of scientific experimentation were improving the University of Pittsburgh Virus Research Laboratory and establishing the Salk Institute for Biological Studies. Salk was not originally interested in science or medicine. In fact, for the majority of his early life, Salk wished to pursue a career in law. It wasn't until college that he even considered scientific research or experimentation.
As a child, I was not interested in science. I was really interested in things human.
Salk was also very precocious. At age 13, he had enrolled in the Townsend Terrace High School, a school designed for gifted students. He graduated at age 15 and enrolled in the City College of New York. At just 20, Salk graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree. Then Salk enrolled in New York University to study medicine. He stood out as a star student at the university. Soon after beginning class there, Salk realized he had more interest in biochemistry and bacteriology than he did in medicine. By the end of his first year, he had been offered the opportunity to switch majors and pursue a PhD in biochemistry. However, Salk chose to stick with medicine due to his ambition to help the human race. In 1948, after graduating from NYU, Jonas Salk had been given the opportunity to work at the Pittsburgh Center for Vaccine Research to study polio. Salk accepted the offer and went to work there. For years, he worked tirelessly. His schedule consisted almost entirely of 16 to 18-hour days and 6-day weeks. Salk managed to keep up with the demanding work while still taking care of his 3 children and maintaining a good relationship with his wife. After 6 years of research and experimentation, Salk was finally ready to test his vaccine on a large scale. Thus began the largest field trial the world had ever seen. Over 1.8 million kids from 44 states were inoculated. On April 12, 1955, after 7 years of hard work, including a year of public experimentation, everyone was tuned into the radio to hear the results of the experiment. It was a success. People rejoiced. Church bells tolled, workplaces observed moments of silence, and prayer meetings were held. Polio's reign of terror had finally come to an end. Salk was considered a hero. In fact, April 12th, the day his vaccine was announced, was almost turned into a national holiday.
It was Edward R. Murrow, the journalist, the newscaster, who said to me that evening that he said, "A young man, a great tragedy has just befallen you." I said, "What's that, Ed?" He said, "You've just lost your anonymity."
Jonas Salk was known for his modesty. He was always humble. If an interview was about him rather than his work, Salk turned it down. He refused to be famous. Salk believed that his vaccine should be well known, but he shouldn't. Dr. Salk saw fame as something undesirable, almost an invasion of privacy. Salk also refused most, if not all, the benefits that resulted from his success. The doctor chose not to patent his vaccine, making it accessible to almost anyone. When people asked who owned the patent for the vaccine, Salk would reply, "The people own the patent. There is no patent. Could you patent the sun?" By deciding not to patent his vaccine, he turned down an estimated $7 billion. In science and medicine, there are many rivalries. For Jonas Salk, it was Albert Sabin. Dr. Sabin saw Salk as an amateur scientist. He doubted Salk's theories and believed the dead virus vaccine to be dangerous and useless. After Salk developed the original poliomyelitis vaccine, Sabin furthered the research done on polio and developed an oral version of the inoculation. But their rivalry continued past the polio era. Sabin always saw Salk as a lesser scientist. Salk decided that he wanted to make a bigger impact on the scientific world. He did not want his entire career to be defined by the polio vaccine. In 1960, Jonas founded the Salk Institute for Biological Studies. The construction of the building itself began in the spring of 1962. He established the institute to bring the excitement of learning about science into schools, and more importantly, further scientific research and discovery. It is an independent, nonprofit research institute in La Jolla, California. As of today, it is internationally known and respected. The institute employs over 850 researchers. The institute focuses its research on molecular biology and genetics, neurosciences, and plant biology. Jonas Salk's efforts to create a polio vaccine were supported and promoted by the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis and its president, Basil O'Connor. This foundation later became known as the March of Dimes. Many celebrities, such as Margaret Lockwood, Frank Sinatra, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and John F. Kennedy, supported the March of Dimes and Dr. Salk. When the vaccine was approved for general use in 1955, President Dwight D. Eisenhower gave Salk a special citation at a ceremony held in the Rose Garden at the White House. This citation was the Meritorious Service Medal. This medal was not the only award Salk received for his work in the field of medical and scientific discovery. In 1975, Salk was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. A Congressional Gold Medal is an award given by the United States Congress to people who have performed an achievement that has an impact on American history and culture that is likely to be recognized as a major achievement in the recipient's field long after the achievement. The Congressional Gold Medal and the Presidential Medal of Freedom are the highest civilian awards in the United States. In 1977, Salk was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It is officially known as an award that recognizes individuals who have made an especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural or other significant public or private endeavors. Throughout his lifetime, Salk received a grand total of 6 major awards, including the Meritorious Service Medal, the Congressional Gold Medal, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the John Scott Legacy Medal and Premium, the Jawaharlal Nehru Award for International Understanding, and the Lasker DeBakey Clinical Medical Research Award. The polio vaccine has now been around for 60 years, and it's easy to look back and see the vaccine's success. In its first few years, the vaccine had a remarkable impact on the number of new cases of polio. There were more than 57,000 reported cases in the United States in 1952. A decade later, that number fell to less than 1,000. The yearly number of cases has continued to drop. In 2013, there were only 416 reported cases. Poliomyelitis has been eradicated in almost every country. Today, only 3 countries in the world have never stopped transmission of polio. These countries are Nigeria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. Of the 3 types of polio, the second has been completely eradicated. More than 10 million people are walking today who would have been paralyzed if not for the polio vaccine, and an estimated more than 1.5 million childhood deaths have been prevented. Overall, since the polio vaccine was put into effect, the number of cases has fallen by over 99%. Beginning in the mid-1980s, Salk also engaged in the research to develop a vaccine for another, more recent disease, AIDS. He co-founded the Immune Response Corporation with Kevin Kimberlin to search for a vaccine. However, the AIDS vaccine project was discontinued in 2007, 12 years after Jonas Salk's death in 1995. Although many advances have been made in treating AIDS, the world still waited for the miracle vaccine the conqueror of polio had sought, wrote historian Alan Axelrod. Before his work on AIDS and HIV, Salk and other scientists focused their efforts on diseases like multiple sclerosis and cancer. In addition to the research he did in his later life, Salk also wrote several books on philosophical topics. His works include Man Unfolding, World Population and Human Values, A New Reality, which he co-wrote with his son Jonathan, Anatomy of Reality, Merging of Intuition and Reason, and The Survival of the Wisest. Jonas Salk has created a tremendous legacy for himself. His kind-hearted and humble personality has played as big a part in creating a great endowment as the polio vaccine has. The New York Times wrote, "Salk is a person of great warmth and tremendous enthusiasm. People who meet him generally like him." A Washington newspaper correspondent commented, "He could sell me the Brooklyn Bridge, and I've never bought anything before." Salk was known for his quick, eloquent, and to-the-point way of speaking. Dr. Jonas Salk dedicated his life's work to helping humanity. Every triumph and hardship he encountered in his professional life only furthered his goal of helping mankind. Jonas Salk passed away of heart failure on June 23, 1995, at age 81. He is gone but will never be forgotten. With his revolutionary polio vaccine, Salk had earned his place in medical history. But that is not the only achievement that turned Jonas Salk into a household name and a role model. Salk's work ethic, leadership skills, personality, and generosity transformed him into the public figure he is and always will be remembered as. Salk challenged common belief and faced overwhelming adversity to benefit all of humanity. Jonas Salk will always be known as the groundbreaking scientist, inspiring leader, and overall remarkable man who stopped polio in its tracks.